Kazakhstan has chosen the multi-vector integration. Its trends, collisions, and prospects are coming up in the Single Market Program.
Public Reception Room, the new initiative of the Eurasian Economic Commission. Kyrgyzstan on the way to digitalization. Market School, how glass is tempered. Hello, I am Yerkebulan Bikhmukhanbet. You're watching the Single Market Program. The integration market participants, and first of all the entrepreneurs involved in the production and sale of goods, consider competition and anti-monopoly regulation to be the most topical issues, since the development of business depends on the solution of these problems. In the Eurasian Economic Commission, they are supervised by the relevant ministry. Today, in Direct Conversations section, our special correspondent in Moscow, Laura Zhusubekova, is talking with Marat Kusainov, who heads the Ministry of Competition and Anti-Monopoly Regulation. Marat Absemetovich, thank you for agreeing to participate in our program. On June 11th, you held a visiting session of the public reception of the Eurasian Economic Commission on anti-monopoly policy in Astana. This event actually had a definite response in the business environment. It was regarded as a step towards business. The head of our state, Nursultan Abishevich Nazarbayev, the initiator of the establishment of the Eurasian Economic Community, pays much attention to the development of integration processes in the space of the Eurasian Economic Union. The initiative of the president that implies the deepening of economic interaction, the free movement of goods and services, opens new opportunities for the economies of the countries of the Union and the growth of the well-being of citizens. In this context, ensuring the protection of competition in the common market is one of the primary tasks. A year has passed since you took office as the Minister for Competition and Anti-Monopoly Regulation of the Eurasian Economic Commission. What did you manage to implement during this period? Firstly, we moved to the practical implementation of those powers that are assigned to the Commission in the field of antitrust regulation. Namely, we launched the first investigations into violations of competition rules, instituted several cases, one of which we have completed so far. Secondly, we did a lot of work to improve the legislation. When I started working in the Commission, I realized that the anti-monopoly response tools for full-fledged work are not enough. First of all, preventative ones. And today we are filling the gaps along with the parties. Thirdly, we continue the important and necessary explanatory work, at the same time introducing new formats of work.
Эти пробелы на сегодня мы со сторонами вместе восполняем. Ну и в-третьих, мы продолжаем важную и необходимую информационную работу, при этом внедряем новые форматы работы.
Could you please explain to us, what is the competence of the Commission in the field of competition protection? After all, there are anti-monopoly bodies of the EAEU countries, and they are also actively working. The powers of the Commission and national competition authorities are clearly delineated. Everything that does not go beyond one state is controlled by the national authorities. If violations of competition rules affects the markets of 2 or more countries of the Union, I mean cross-border markets, it is the field of our activity. What specific violations do you suppress? Specifically, the unit that I oversee suppresses the violations that adversely affect competition in cross-border markets. This is the following: abuse of dominant position, unfair competition, vertical, horizontal, and other anti-competitive agreements of economic entities, coordination of economic activities that restrict competition. At the very beginning, you mentioned about active enforcement of law. Can you tell us in detail what violations have been prevented by the Commission over the past year, and what cases are now in progress? Over the year, on the basis of applications and our own initiative, we have launched 12 investigations. As a result, 5 cases were opened. These cases concern violations of competition rules in the markets of transformer steel, air transportation, all-rolled wheels, tires for cars, and metal structures. We have completed one of them so far. On the second case, delivery of metal structures, the violation was not confirmed. We continue our work on the other 3 cases.
По остальным 3 эпизодам мы продолжаем работу.
How active is Kazakhstan's business?
На сегодня от Казахстана.
By today, we have received 9 applications from Kazakh enterprises. Of these applications, 4 investigations have been assigned in the interest of Kazakh consumers, following the results of which 2 cases have been initiated. The work on 2 investigations in the markets of rolling stock services and the calibration of medical equipment is going on. Last year, the Commission made a resonant decision, a large fine for Novolipetsk steel plant. It was about infringement of the rights of Kazakh and Belarusian companies. However, the fine has not yet been paid. Who and when will put an end to this issue? Yes, indeed. Last year, we completed the first case in the practice of EAEU with the imposition of a fine on the Novolipetsk steel plant for the price discrimination of consumers in Belarus and Kazakhstan, namely Minsk and Kintau transformer plants. The final decision on this issue will be taken by the Eurasian Intergovernmental Council.
Но окончательное решение по данному вопросу уже примет Евразийский межправительственный совет.
Вы говорили о большой работе.
You have mentioned about working on improvement of legislation. What is its essence?
Так сложилось, что законодательство Евразес в сфере антимонопольного.
The fact is that EAEU legislation in the sphere of anti-monopoly regulation is too rigid. It is not flexible today. The only and non-alternative measure of restraint of violations is fine. Business does not fully understand its responsibility for violating competition rules. At the same time, the union legislation lacks preventative tools. We have agreed with all countries to amend the Treaty on the Union to introduce tools for warning for violation of the rules. Prior to their adoption for the transition period, we have already implemented its individual elements.
Предупреждение за нарушение правил. И до их принятия на переходный период мы уже сегодня внедрили отдельные его элементы.
Как будет работать этот механизм?
How will this mechanism work? After the amendments to the treaty come into effect, the Commission will have the authority to issue warnings without the appointment of an investigation. This will enable companies to independently eliminate violations and restore competition without paying a fine. At the same time, I stress that in case of non-fulfillment of the Commission's requirements, an investigation will be appointed.
Будет назначено расследование.
Вы коснулись важной проблемы.
You have touched upon an important problem, the business community's lack of understanding of its responsibilities and rights when doing business in the union's conditions. Will you agree that entrepreneurs still have weak knowledge of the principles of competition law in the trans-border markets of the EAEU?
Но этого мало. Поэтому важным направлением нашей работы является широкое информирование.
I agree with you. Of course, all of our laws and regulations are published and made available to businesses, but this is not enough. We work in several formats here. The first one is seminars, roundtables, including those with a visit to the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union. We've agreed with the anti-monopoly authorities of the countries, associations of entrepreneurs, on supporting us. In Kazakhstan, we actively interact with Atamekan National Chamber of Entrepreneurs. The second one, our legislation and rules are written in a difficult manner. Therefore, we have prepared the so-called White Book, where we talk about responsibility and business rights, giving examples and visual presentations. And the third one, this is a new format of our interaction with the business of the EAEU countries, the holding of the Eurasian Economic Union Admissions Committee on Anti-Monopoly Policy. We have already hosted field meetings in the capital of Belarus, and now in Astana.
Выездные заседания мы уже провели в столице Беларуси, Минске, а теперь в Астане.
И в чем заключается?
What is the new format, and will it give an effect?
Главное, это не только общая разъяснительная работа, а индивидуальные консультации бизнеса.
The main thing is not only general explanatory work, but individual business consultations. If the rights of a specific entrepreneur in the general market are violated by the anti-competitive actions of his partners, we're ready to help him. Within our competence, I mean to clarify the rights, to explain how to issue an application, and so on. As for effect, with the help of Atamekan, we inform the entire Kazakh business that we are ready to hold consultations a month in advance. More than 10 Kazakh entrepreneurs applied for consultations. It is just the start. We are ready to help conscientious businesses in protecting their interests.
10 казахстанских предпринимателей, но это уже начало. Аналогичную работу мы проведем во всех странах Союза. Мы готовы активно помогать добросовестному бизнесу в защите их интересов.
Thank you, Marat Absimetovich. The answers have been exhaustive. As it became clear from our conversation, much has been done over the past year. I wish you success in protecting the values of competition in the common market of the EAEU.
Спасибо.
Thank you. Analysts say that if national and joint projects on the digital economy are implemented, its share in the gross domestic product of the EAEU countries will be able to reach 30%. This is almost a third of the total GDP of the integration community. Therefore, today the key question is how can partners quickly start the process of digitalization at the level of the state program? Our correspondent in Bishkek, Gulmira Midyet, to continue the topic. Last October, the digital agenda of the EAEU was adopted at the meeting of the Supreme Eurasian Economic Council. The heads of partner states agreed on the phased implementation of digitalization process in the territory of the integration community. The introduction of the new economy platform will take 7 years. Since a unified strategy has not been developed yet, each country of the EAEU is moving in this direction within a national program. In this case, the starting positions of all partners are different. Kyrgyzstan's plans are related to the nationwide digital transformation program, Tazakum. The literal translation of this name is pure or transparent society. In fact, we are talking about such a concept of sustainable development as smart country.
Tazakum является будущим нашей страны. Tazakum искоренит коррупцию в стране.
Tazakum is the future of our country. We will eradicate corruption. We will learn to value each other, to respect the law. Everyone realizes that it is impossible to solve vital issues without digital development.
Большинство людей понимает, что без цифрового развития невозможно решить насущные проблемы.
The goal of this program is to provide access to information and communication technologies for citizens of the Republic, to create a platform for the introduction of digital format in all spheres of the economy and society. At the first stage, Kyrgyzstan plans to cover by digitalization all branches of public administration, legislative, judicial, and administrative. One of the key elements of the Tazakum program is the launch of the Toondoo system, which will create digital basis for the implementation of an e-government project. Toondoo is an interdepartmental communication. It is a circulatory system of electronic government. The Toondoo project is implemented to pay attention to every citizen, even that one who lives in the outback. It is an automation of workflow. Some advancements in the digital direction already exist. For example, in the framework of the Smart City project, photo and video cameras have been installed at the busiest traffic junctions of Bishkek. The cameras have a high resolution, date, type of violation, automobile brand, all data. Everything is eradicated here and sent to a violator. Some of the patrol crews of the capital are equipped with tablets. The preparation of the electronic protocol takes from 1 to 3 minutes. In addition to ensuring safety on the roads, it is envisioned such systems as electronic queue, hybrid mail, and electronic trading platform will be implemented. The entrepreneurs of Kyrgyzstan have special expectations from this project.
Какие же плюсы у этой площадки? Во-первых, это прозрачность во всем. Значит, мы исключаем все коррупционные риски.
What are the advantages? It is transparency in everything. We exclude corruption risks and give confidentiality. For government agencies, it's online registration. They go to the IT portal, register, and sell. For business, it is to participate by means of a mobile phone. The effect is obvious.
Список аукциона, и она там автоматически появится. Так что вот налицо эффект.
By the way, the specialist of one of the IT companies in the Republic suggests consolidating electronic trading platforms of all the countries of the EAEU using a technological platform that will act as a single database operator. Imagine that you open a boutique in one shopping center and immediately the same boutique with the same goods is opened in other malls around the world. This is what the integration implies. According to preliminary calculations, Kyrgyzstan will need about $1 billion to implement the Tazakum digitalization program. Only $500 million will be allocated for these purposes from the state budget. The second source of funding could potentially be foreign investment. But in order to be interesting for foreign investors, the state will need guarantees of a stable society that relies on the law. So focusing on the digit, you should also keep in mind the letter of the law. Gulmira Midet, Bishkek, especially for single market. Quartz sand. Its reserves in Kazakhstan are estimated at several billion tons. Moreover, the chemical composition of this raw material is of such good quality that it has no analogs in the world. Directly from the bucket, without enrichment, the quartz sand of Kazakhstan is delivered to the domestic and foreign markets. However, a robust calculation suggests that it is much more effective to produce goods with added value by processing raw materials. Anar Tastanbekova to continue the topic. At the end of 2016, a new plant was launched in Almaty. Its specialization is the processing of quartz sand and the production of glass containers, cans and bottles for companies that produce beverages and canned products. The plant's capacity is 160 tons of vitreous mass per day, or 120 million bottles a year. Every minute they burn and temper glass in huge furnaces. The plant works 24 hours a day in 4 shifts. It is uninterrupted. The plant has its own railway impasse. It has optimized the delivery of raw materials. To ensure the production process is carried out without stopping, stocks of quartz sand, soda ash, feldspar, marble flour, and other necessary ingredients are stored in the warehouse of the company. Quartz sand is obtained from the Kyzylorda region from the Aral deposit. We receive a fairly large amount of sand, up to 126 cars a month, up to 60 tons of sand in each car. The only material that the plant imports is soda ash. This component is delivered here from Russia and Uzbekistan. 30% of the raw materials are so-called kullet. One part is the rejected bottles, which are recycled again. The other part of kullet is provided by small companies that accept used containers. The production process here is automated and environmentally friendly. The innovative technological lines have international certificates. The furnaces do not use coal, but gas.
При сжигании природного газа у нас недостаточно.
When burning natural gas, not many pollutants are produced. We measure the state of the furnace every day. We do gas analysis, that is, determine the degree of pollution. We do not pollute the atmosphere. There is no even need to put filters.
Мы определяем степень загрязнения, но это не загрязняет атмосферу, даже нет необходимости ставить фильтра.
One of the features of the marketing strategy of the Almaty Glass enterprise is its customer orientation. The modern molding equipment makes it possible to produce exclusive bottles of a wide variety of geometric shapes and configurations.
У нас, получается, стоят машины.
We have equipment that makes very sophisticated exclusive bottles. In the post-Soviet space, there are a few plants that custom-made exclusive bottles. We're the first ones in Kazakhstan. The plant has implemented a quality management system. This ensures that products meet world standards and stable demand. The enterprise delivers the products not only to the domestic market, but also to the external one. We cooperate with foreign enterprises in Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Russia, and Tajikistan. In the near future, at this plant, another furnace for melting glass and 4 high-speed glass-forming machines with a conveyor system will be installed. In addition, a new area of decor for painting bottles will open. This will allow the enterprise to reach a new level of development of production and exports. Anar Tastanbekova, Anatoly Valyuski, especially for single market. That's all for today. Let me remind you that you can watch all our programs at www.kazakh-tv.kz. See you soon in the Single Market program.